Difference between ethnocentrism, cultural relativism. Look at this picture. Detail going on. Ethnocentrism. It is the belief that one's own culture or ethnic group is superior to others, and the tendency to judge other cultures by one's own cultural standards. Cultural relativism. It is the principle of understanding and evaluating cultural practices and beliefs within their own cultural context without imposing external judgments. Difference between a definition. Ethnocentrism, it is the tendency to judge other cultures by the standards and values of one's own culture, often viewing one's own culture as superior. Cultural relativism, this perspective emphasizes understanding and interpreting other cultures within their own context without imposing the values of one's own culture. To perspective, ethnocentrism involves viewing one's own culture groups as the center of everything and judging others in relation to it. Cultural relativism involves taking a natural stance towards different cultural practices and beliefs, trying to understand them on their own terms. Judgment. Ethnocentrism leads to criticism and negative judgment of practices and beliefs that differ from one's own cultural norms. Cultural relativism encourages acceptance and tolerance of cultural diversity, avoiding judgment based on one's own cultural standards. For cultural practices, ethnocentrism sees cultural practices as either right or wrong based on the standards of one's own culture. Cultural relativism views cultural practices as relative and meaningful within their specific cultural context, regardless of their divergence from other cultural norms. 5. Flexibility. Ethnocentrism. Often rigid and less flexible in understanding and appreciating cultural diversity. Cultural relativism emphasizes adaptability and opennesses to diverse cultural perspectives and practices. 6. Cultural superiority. Ethnocentrism tendency to reinforce the belief in the superiority of one's own culture over others. Cultural relativism challenges It is an of cultural superiority and advocates for equal respect and understanding of all cultures. 7. Universalism versus particularism. Ethnocentrism often reflects universalist tendencies where one believes that certain cultural values and norms should apply universally. Cultural relativism embraces particularism, acknowledging that cultural values and norms are specific to each culture and context. 8. Cross-cultural understanding. Ethnocentrism hinders cross-cultural understanding by prioritizing one's own cultural norms over others. Cultural relativism facilitates cross-cultural understanding by promoting empathy, curiosity, and appreciation for cultural differences. 9. Ethical implications. Ethnocentrism can lead to discriminatory behavior, prejudice, and ethnocentric attitudes towards other cultural groups. But cultural relativism supports ethical behavior by fostering respect, tolerance, and sensitivity towards diverse cultural practices and beliefs. 10. Anthropological approach. Ethnocentrism contradicts the anthropological principles of cultural relativism, which advocates for impartiality and objectivity in studying cultures. But cultural relativism align with the anthropological principles of cultural relativism, guiding researchers to understand cultures from within their own frameworks. Thank you. Have a nice day.